What's up guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm be ranking all 11 Spider-Man films from the worst to the best. Now before we start, don't hit that like button, subscribe to the post notification bell so you know for every video, and let's just start. So coming in on the last place is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now this film is horrible. It's terrible. There are too many villains in this film. Electro, he looks horrible. Jamie Foxx is good in the film, but the character design is terrible. Green Goblin, he's horrible. Dane DeHaan is a good actor, but in this film, something went wrong, and his performance was horrible. It was terrible. It was the worst iteration of Green Goblin that I've ever seen put to screen, and I thought it was terrible. Andrew Garfield, he's good in this film. Emma Stone is good in this film, but the story is too convoluted. It's not a good story. And just overall, this film is terrible. I'm probably never going to rewatch it again. So The Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes in at number 11. Coming number 10 is going to be Venom. Now, this film is okay. It's not a good film. It's not a bad film. It's just okay. Eddie Brock was played by Tom Hardy. He's really good in this film. The story is not that good. It's entertaining. The action sequences are okay. Riot is a terrible villain. There's no character motivation. He's just there. And I didn't really think that there was a point to making this film. So Venom comes in at number 10. Number 9 is going to be Venom Let There Be Carnage. Now this film is just fun. It's not a good film. It's not a bad film. This is just a fun film. And I thought Andy Serkis did a great job with his directing for the film, because this film, to me, looks better than Venom 2018. Just by the camera work for this film. Venom 2018 did some things with the camera that I didn't really like. But this film, Andy Serkis is a great director, and he directed this film very, very well. So it's just an entertaining film. It's not a good film. It's not a bad film. Just like Venom, it's entertaining, but I think that this film is more entertaining than Venom. Coming in number 8 is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this film is Mark Webb's first Spider-Man film, and I think he's a good director. He is a good director for Spider-Man. The action sequences are great. The Lizard is a good villain, not one of the best villains. Rhys Ifans is a good actor, but the Lizard is an okay villain. Spider-Man, of course, played by Andrew Garfield. I think he was great. He was a great Spider-Man. Not my favorite, but he is still a great Spider-Man. And I think that the ending for this film, that third act of the film, I thought it was fun. The Lizard versus Spider-Man is very fun. There's a school fight sequence with the Lizard and Spider-Man, and I think it works well. But the things that are lacking in this film is that it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man film to me. This film feels like a good action film. It's a good action film, but there's some sequences in there that I don't think works for the film. It goes a little too slow at parts. Gwen Stacy, she is good. Emma Stone is good in this film. Captain Stacy, he is also good in this film, and he has an emotional death sequence in this film that I think works. But it's okay. It's an okay film. I enjoy it for what it is. It's obviously better than the rest below it. But I would rewatch this again. So Amazing Spider-Man comes in at number 8. Coming number 7 is going to be Spider-Man 3. Now this film is Sam Raimi's last Spider-Man film, and I don't understand why this film gets so much hate and criticism for it. I rewatched it just a couple days ago, and I think it was okay. It's not a terrible, terrible film. There are a lot of sequences in this film that don't work, but for me, it was very, very entertaining. Venom, Eddie Brock, he's horrible in the film. I didn't think Venom was really good in this film. Sandman is by far the best in this film. He is the best character in this film. But Venom, I don't understand why they chose him to be Venom. He did not have any character motivations, or he did have character motivations, but they were just flat out dumb. Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, he's awesome as Spider-Man, of course. In this film, I think has a lot of problems. It has a lot of good things about it, but the problems outweigh the good. So Spider-Man 3 comes in at number 7. Number 6 is going to be Spider-Man Far From Home. Now this film is the second Spider-Man film, and I think that it's fun. It's just a fun film. It's a good film. It is fun. It's entertaining. Is it one of the best Spider-Man films? No. I would rewatch it, but I would only rewatch it for the action sequences. Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal is great. He's a great actor, and I think he does a great job in this film. Of course, they're trying to do it like the comics, but I didn't really like that they just made him just some guy with technology, and it's obviously bringing it back to Tony Stark. He was someone who was hurt by Tony Stark, and I didn't know why they would need to put that in the film, but other than that, it's a very fun film. So Spider-Man Far From Home comes in at number 6. Number 5 is going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now this is easily one of the best animated superhero films that I've ever seen. I think Shameik Moore does a great job in this film. The villains, Kingpin, fantastic villain. One of the best Spider-Man villains ever put to screen. And this film does a great job with the animation. The animation for this film is visually striking. I think it works very well for this film. It's different, it's new, and it is definitely by far one of the best Spider-Man films, and I will definitely rewatch this. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse comes in at number 5. Number 4 is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming. Now this is Tom Holland's first Spider-Man film, and I think that is very fun, very entertaining. Tony Stark, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., he's great in the film. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man, and I think the story was good. It's obviously him in high school, starting out to become Spider-Man, and I think it works for the film. This film is kind of an origin story for Spider-Man, but not really an origin story. It's just another adventure with Spider-Man, even though we're seeing him for the second time. So I think Spider-Man Homecoming is a fun film, and I think it is a good film, and I would definitely rewatch it. So Spider-Man Homecoming comes in at number 4. Number 3 is going to be the latest entry, Spider-Man No Way Home. Now this film is fantastic. I loved Spider-Man No Way Home. I was very, very, very excited to see this film, but I was also very skeptical because if they did not put Tobey and Andrew in this film, I don't think it would have worked, because why would you put the villains in the film from their films into this film and not put them in it? So I thought that the entire film worked well. There are some slow sequences in that first act that I think they could have cleaned up a bit, which I spoke about in my review, but other than that, this is a very, very fun film. Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, fantastic, the best he's been. I think he was even better in this film than he was in Spider-Man 2002, but everyone in this film was good. So Spider-Man No Way Home is an awesome film, and it comes in at number 3. Number 2 is going to be Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man film, Tobey Maguire's first film as Spider-Man. This is just one of the best superhero films of all time. This is one of the best superhero films of all time, one of my favorite superhero films. Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, Tobey Maguire, everyone in this film, Kirsten Dunst, fantastic. Every single person in this film is fantastic. The action sequences, really, really well done for a 2002 film. Sam Raimi does a great job with the action sequences in this film. The festival sequence, awesome. The third act is possibly one of the best third acts of any Spider-Man film. Spider-Man versus Norman Osborn or Green Goblin. One of the best fight sequences. And I liked how it went for a darker and more gritty tone for this Spider-Man film. And I think it works because Green Goblin is scary in this film. He is a scary villain. And of course, Willem Dafoe, one of the best actors. And he is very, very good in this film. And I think that Spider-Man is just one of the best superhero films ever made. It is an instant classic, and I thought it was great. So Spider-Man comes in at number 2. But coming in at number 1 is going to be Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's second Spider-Man film, Tobey Maguire's sequel. This film is everything I want from a Spider-Man film. You have a great villain, Dr. Octopus, played by Alfred Molina. He's great in the film. This is easily the best villain performance, right next to Willem Dafoe for Spider-Man. This story, I thought it was also very, very well done. He loses his powers in this film for, I think, really in that first act, ending of the first act, all the way to sort of the middle of the second act. I didn't really know why he had to lose his powers for such a short amount of time, or even lose powers at all. So it was all right, but other than that, this entire film was fantastic. Doc Ock, that third act of the film, where he actually turns good and he's destroying his own machine, dying with it. It's all fantastic. The train sequence, everything. So Spider-Man 2 is easily one of the best superhero films ever made. One of my favorite superhero films ever made, and that's why it comes in at number 1. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the post notification bell so you can know if I have a free video. I'm Peter. Thank you for watching.